Gambling has been around for a long time, but right now as technology is advancing, gambling is growing as well. With thousands of new customers joining every day and marketing techniques that make players keep on coming back, gambling addiction has become one of the worst addictions as of today. All of the well-known gambling establishments maintain profit through the house edge. For example, any game you are playing is in favor of the gambling site. All games are designed to be addictive and make you feel as if your next bet is going to be a win. Many of the sites benefit through promotions. These promotions will be distributed on a weekly basis, giving users free plays or funds to make them want to return. But in reality, they are typically only a small portion of their losses. Now let's talk about how gambling is promoted towards first-time users. Commercials are shown to those who are most at risk to partake in these activities. For example, sports betting sites will broadcast commercials alongside sporting events because viewers who already watch sports have the most interest in showing their sporting knowledge in a betting form. The use of top figures to gain credibility is a good technique for these companies. They have also gained users from live streamers. These streamers with thousands of viewers get paid hundreds of millions of dollars to advertise these products at their own viewers' expense. While giving out free money, this is another way that viewers can get hooked. Lastly, many of these sites have welcome offers or referral bonuses to encourage users to seek out their friends to get money on their own accounts. To make it clear, not everyone who gambles has an addiction. Signs of a gambling addiction include, but are not limited to, gambling more money than one can afford to lose, spending excessive amounts of time gambling, not sticking to limits, gambling despite consequence, stealing, and gambling to improve happiness. When attempting to quit after having a gambling addiction, it takes discipline, consistency, and help. The most important thing, though, is the willingness to let go of gambling. Some people with a gambling addiction are able to admit that they have a problem, but still enjoy the action so much that they don't want to stop. I'd like to discuss who is at most risk of developing a gambling addiction. A brief list of reasons that indicate a higher chance of developing a gambling addiction include mental health disorders, age, age you start gambling, sex, pressure based on the people around you, stress, income, where you live, and race. To analyze reasons why mental disorders cause an increase in gambling, over COVID, gambling took a huge increase in popularity. This goes along with the decline of mental health of the overall population. Anxiety disorder, for example, causes many people to isolate and to worry. People learn from repetition. If someone spends hours at end in their room afraid of talking to people, they will never overcome their fear, therefore failing to progress out of this state. These habits of isolation directly lead to online gambling. Same with depression. If it causes you to lose motivation and purpose, you will end up isolating where you are at a higher risk of addiction. This is because when you lose hope on your goals and nothing is going well in your life, you are trying to find an escape, and gambling can be that escape. I want to talk about how income and race have an effect on gambling. University of Buffalo newsletter states, based on representative telephone interviews with nearly 5,000 people ages 14 to 90 in the United States, the study found that problem gambling was twice as likely in neighborhoods with the highest levels of concentrated poverty compared to neighborhoods with the lowest poverty levels. One specific reason that can be related to gambling addiction in poor neighborhoods could be what surrounds them. If the environment someone lives in is unclean and dangerous, standards about their own self-worth can decline, as well as their expectations. Also, being poor can cause someone to not be able to afford certain things needed to live a comfortable life. If you are living paycheck to paycheck, struggling to pay bills every month, you might gamble out of desperation. Furthermore, many people in poverty might view gambling as one of the only ways they can get rich, when in reality is quite the opposite. I was able to connect people living in poverty towards mental health treatment. As discussed before, mental health is related to gambling, and gambling itself is a disorder. Many people may not have mental health facilities around them that are affordable, or even help from the people around them. For example, someone living in poverty might not have a family who has time to assist them in their addiction, as they could be working two jobs themselves to provide for the family. Another reason can be due to the schooling systems in certain environments, and this is a situation where ethnic groups can be added in. While the average statewide suspension rate during the 2018-2019 academic year was 3.5% in public schools, the average rate for African American students was 9.1%, higher than any other racial group according to a recently published report by the Black Minds Matter Coalition. Although there are a lot of factors that can cause this, one can definitely infer a racial bias exists. So now if we take into account going to a suboptimal school, which may be the only option available for a family in a poor neighborhood, and now a racial bias on top of that, we can see clear preventions towards growth. The last point that I want to bring up relating to gambling in different ethnic groups relates to transportation. If someone who lives in a certain area has to take 5 buses, which takes 4 hours just to get to work, it obviously has major effects on them. Not only are they losing time, which is the most valuable thing one can have, they also might not be able to reliably commute, resulting in termination or loss of opportunities. Furthermore, my goal in this video was to show some of the connections between gambling and risk factors discussed. There is still a lot more I could have said about this topic, and all of the most at risk factors have not been addressed yet. If anything I said stood out to you or can be improved on, let me know in the comment section. Thanks for watching.